Viola descended the creaking stairs of their aging home, the tranquil sounds of their children's deep slumber audible in the background. Knowing that Glenn had a tough day, she opted not to disturb him. At first, the noise she heard might have been the wind, but its persistence compelled her to investigate. "Is someone there?" she called out, her heart pounding. When she finally opened the door, the noise abruptly ceased. Now let's delve into the intriguing story of a family that faced a bewildering situation. They had buried their dog after it was hit by a car, only to find it standing outside their front door 14 hours later. But before we dive into that, please remember to click the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell for more captivating videos. Glenn Maloney had always harbored dreams of having a family. While many men sought fast cars, late nights, and whirlwind romances, Glenn's aspirations were different. He considered himself fortunate to have met Viola Tizzi, his ideal life partner. He couldn't fathom why someone like her would choose him, but he knew she was the one. Although things moved faster than they'd initially planned, Glenn was confident that he would eventually settle down with Viola. She was the only person who embraced him for who he was and what he'd aspired to be. Glenn was determined to give Viola the life she had always envisioned. He pledged to himself that when the time was right, he would propose to her. However, before he could put his plan into action, they received an unexpected surprise. When Viola informed Glenn that she was pregnant, joy overwhelmed him, but it was swiftly followed by anxiety. Glenn had always wanted a family, but he hadn't anticipated things moving at such a rapid pace. He had a plan in mind: marriage, a house, a dog, and then a baby. They seemed to have skipped many steps on that list, and as time passed, his doubts continued to linger. Their daughter Megan was born with a full head of hair and radiated happiness. Her joy became infectious, spreading to both her parents. Glenn had never experienced such profound love for another human being. He finally comprehended the meaning of unconditional love. Despite having a beautiful partner and a healthy child, a sense of incompleteness nagged at him. Glenn couldn't quite pinpoint the source of his unease. He had a lovely partner and a thriving child, both considered miracles in life. They worked hard to secure a farmhouse on the outskirts of town, with ample land for Megan to eventually explore. On his first Christmas as a father, Glenn expressed his desire for nothing more than to watch his daughter unwrap her gifts. Therefore, when he discovered a sizable box with his name on it, he was taken aback. Removing the bow from the unwrapped cardboard box, he was met with two eager eyes. His heart skipped a beat. What was this? The Russell Terrier inside the box was smaller than Megan that Christmas. They named him Muggsy and watched him grow alongside their little girl. However, as the months passed, Muggsy quickly caught up in size. Glenn finally understood what had been missing from his life. He now had the perfect family, but he had forgotten how challenging it was to raise children. Over the next 4 years, they witnessed Muggsy maturing alongside Megan. He was there when Viola became pregnant for the second time, and he met baby Kevin before Megan had the chance. As time marched on, Megan and Kevin outgrew the little terrier. Glenn wished he could freeze time, keeping his 3 cherished babies forever young. Yet he came to realize that time waits for no one, not even for those who wished it would. Megan was 4 years old when Glenn's life took a sudden and dramatic turn. He heard the screeching of brakes outside, and Megan and Kevin were happily seated at the kitchen table, engrossed in building a gingerbread house. Their home sparkled with tinsel and ornaments. Glenn's instincts kicked in, and he rushed to the window, where he noticed Muggsy lying motionless on the road. Without a second thought, he raced to Muggsy's side. His heart ached as Glenn cradled Muggsy in his arms, unable to believe his eyes. Muggsy had passed away. Glenn's grief was palpable, his loyal companion no longer breathing or with a heartbeat. He swiftly moved to shield his children from the heart-wrenching sight, ensuring they didn't witness the tragedy. When Viola returned home, they prepared a solemn farewell and buried Muggsy in the garden. Little did they know that fate had a different plan in store. One early morning at 3:00 a.m., Viola was awakened by persistent knocking at their front door. Fearful of a potential burglar, she grabbed Kevin's baseball bat and cautiously descended the stairs. Peering through the window, she saw no one outside. Confused about why someone would be knocking so early, she slowly opened the door, only to let out a scream. Glenn rushed downstairs upon hearing Viola's cries, and his astonishment knew no bounds when he saw her bent over a dirt-covered Mugsy. Was it a dream? Mugsy, covered in dirt and with bloodshot eyes, later explained, "One look into those eyes, and I knew it was him." The mystery deepened. Mugsy's tail wagged uncontrollably as they rushed him to the vet the following morning. The astonishing truth emerged: Mugsy had been knocked unconscious in the hit-and-run accident. After the collision, his heart rate had plummeted to an almost undetectable level, giving the appearance of death. However, Glenn had buried him deeply. How had Mugsy managed to escape? Russell Terriers, bred for fox hunting, possessed innate digging abilities. Mugsy's instincts had kicked in. He had dug his way up from the grave. Glenn, overjoyed to have his family reunited, embraced his children as they cried tears of joy upon Mugsy's return. The resilient dog received hugs, kisses, and a new toy. But the story didn't end there. News of Mugsy's remarkable tale quickly spread throughout the town and eventually garnered attention from newspapers and magazines across the country. Mugsy, the dog, became a national sensation. Unexpectedly, the story reached the ears of one of America's most renowned hosts, Oprah Winfrey, who, being an ardent dog lover herself, was deeply moved by the narrative. She couldn't resist inviting the couple to share their extraordinary experience on her show. The family was astonished by how far their story had traveled, and they regarded it as a Christmas miracle. Despite the veterinary explanations, Glenn remained steadfast in his belief that Mugsy had stopped breathing that fateful night but had somehow returned to life 6 hours after being buried. Was there more to it than the medical explanation? Mugsy's tale had turned him into a global sensation, and people everywhere were captivated by his incredible story. Some attributed it to the power of love, while others called it a Christmas miracle. Regardless of the interpretation, Glenn, Viola, Megan, and Kevin were overjoyed to have their family whole once more. They showered Mugsy with extra gifts that year, but the question lingered: how long would their good fortune last?